Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's DLloyd and we are here, you guys. The entire off season all in one episode. It's going to be a pretty long episode, but we have everything that happened this off season in this episode. Now, we lost in the wild card game to the Oakland Raiders. Right here I'm showing the Pro Bowl. We didn't have any players in the Pro Bowl, so that's why I'm kind of talking over it, but we end up losing to the Oakland Raiders. The main pieces that we want to address this off season is we want to address our offensive line. If we could get a playmaking receiver, that would be great. If we could get a younger middle linebacker, that will also be good. And maybe, just maybe, we will address quarterback situation, which we have Marcus Mariota under contract for another season. We'll see if anybody's out there that we want to take either early or we take late in the drafts, and we'll kind of address the situation from there. But the Super Bowl champs are the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, the Oakland Raiders made the Super Bowl after defeating us in the wild card game, but the Seahawks are your Super Bowl champs, 26-24. The bad thing about that is we have the round 3 and round 4 draft picks. I thought they would be worse. They ended up being the Super Bowl champs, but it's all good. Maybe Des Bryant helped them out that much. But the first thing we're doing in the offseason is re-signing players. A lot of these guys, of course, we decided not to re-sign since we did have the opportunity to sign them during the season, but Delanie Walker is one guy we do need to address. Rashard Matthews had a decent year for us, but we're going to make the tough decision, and we are going to allow Rashard Matthews to test free agency. So we will not be re-signing him. But one guy we do want to go after, Delanie Walker. Now, his overall did drop. I believe he was a 93 overall last season. He is now a 87 overall. But we're going to franchise tag him for 1 year, $7 million. So a hefty price tag for Delanie Walker, but that's just about what he wants for 2 years at 13.7. I don't think I want him for 2 seasons because of his age, but somebody who is a free agent has 17 bids is Odell Beckham Jr. The Giants did not re-sign him, and he is on the market. And you see the Dallas Cowboys have the top bid currently, but we need a playmaking wide receiver. If we could get Odell on our team, that will be crazy. We have the money to go and get him, and we're going to try to spend all of this money to bring in Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not worried about giving him a huge contract at all. So 4 years is what we're currently working with. Now, the fair offer is 4 years, $68 million. And we want to go way past that because we want to try to make sure that we can bring him in. So at first, I'm thinking 4 years, $75 million, $7 million per year guaranteed. I think that's a pretty good offer. So we're going to offer that to him. But you see the top bid, we are still lacking the Dallas Cowboys. So, hey, let's open up renegotiations and let's try to get something else figured out. So we're going to increase his signing bonus from $7 million a year to $7.5 million per year, and that's at $77.8 million. So we're going to give this to him and see what happens. We're at 102, but this is still a little too close for me. I do not want to miss out on OBJ. So we're going to go right back to the negotiations, and we are going to increase the signing bonus up to $8 million per season, then go ahead and try to make this at least $80 million. So 4 years, $80 million is what we're going to offer Odell Beckham Jr. I think that is a crazy offer that takes up, basically all of our cap space. But I think he is that type of player that could definitely help out our team. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now for left guard, we currently don't have any left guards on our roster. So Richie Incognito, he's 36 years old. He's still a 77 overall in our scheme. We will offer him a 1-year deal. Hopefully, that's enough to bring him in. Adrian Phillips, we need a backup free safety. Of course, we have Kevin Byard. Don't want to spend a ton of money, so $2.5 million we're going to go ahead and give to Wilson if he decides to sign. Now, Darian Stewart, we need a backup strong safety. We're going to offer him a 2-year deal worth $4 million. So we're not paying him a ton of money either. Now, when we advance the week, hoping we can sign some guys, we get Stewart, but we lose Odell Beckham. Now, I'm curious because we offered this man a crazy amount of money. Did he go to the Cowboys? No, he ends up signing with the Chicago Bears, who were not even on our radar when we were offering him, and his top bid was only 98 points. So maybe the highest bidder doesn't always get the player in this Madden. I don't mind that, but it did catch us off guard, and now we have a lot of money available to try to offer other free agents. So Tavon Austin, we're trying to lowball him. I like Tavon Austin a lot. I think he's a weapon that we can especially use on special teams. I don't really see him fitting in our offensive scheme anyway, either wide receiver or running back. So we're going to go ahead and offer him as a special teams player, essentially, to be a kick returner, $3 million 1 year. We'll see how that goes. Jeremy Maclin, we lost Rashard Matthews. Maclin up there in age, but 1 year, $5.7 million. He has no other offers. Hopefully, he could take that offer. Now, you see me looking at the draft board right here. Receiver is who we will preferably want to address. Now, Harry's a guy I do like, but he's projected early first round, so I'm not quite sure he will fall to us. We have the 22nd pick in round 1, so I'm not sure if he'll fall. Devin White, a guy I extremely am high on, but he's also projected early first round. Now, somebody who is realistic is Shaquille Quarterman. He's projected late first rounder. Ran a 4.6 940, so not terrible, not the best, but he looks like a decent guy, and he had the highest bench press out of all linebackers. So that's good. Greedy Williams, we don't really need a cornerback, but I am intrigued by that B-plus man coverage, and he is somebody who we could look at. Now, quarterback, Shea Patterson, that could be a guy we could try to go after in round 2 if he falls to us. That could be the potential replacement. Now, you're looking at who signed. We end up getting Jeremy Maclin. We also end up getting Richie Incognito. So we got so far 3 players that signed with us. Tavon Austin looks like he's going to the Jets. See 105 points. So we're going to up our offer on Tavon Austin to see if we could somehow get Tavon to sign with us. So we're at 2 years now. And I'm thinking, do I want to give him $10 million? But we settle on just about $9.5 million, and we are nowhere close to the Jets' offer. So we are no longer really worried about Tavon Austin. Now, still trying to address wide receiver Kevin White, the former first-round draft pick. He is available, and we're going to offer him a 1-year deal. Maybe we can get his career back on track in Tennessee. So we'll see what happens with that. Sean LeVay, I believe his name is. We're going to go ahead and offer him a 1-year deal as well, just to get some depth to our offensive line position. But Tavon Austin, of course, he signs with the Jets. Not worried about it. But we get Kevin White and we get the left guard, so we do have some depth at that position. We now have 2 players at left guard. We came into free agency with absolutely nobody, and this is all the players that we end up signing right here. So not a crazy signing for our offseason free agency period for us, but I think we addressed a couple of positions for us. You're looking at the top free agents available. Really wasn't nobody groundbreaking besides Odell Beckham, and he went to the Chicago Bears for whatever reason. Rashard Matthews went to the team that beat us. He ended up signing with the Oakland Raiders. Amir Abdullah is another guy who I really like playing with in this game. We're cool with our running back situation, which is why we didn't really address it, but he's a guy who got a pretty good deal. Tyrod Taylor is now going to the New York Giants also. So you're looking at these guys. Des Bryant signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is also pretty interesting. So that's pretty much where all the top guys that were available in free agency went. Now it's time for my favorite part of the offseason, of course, the NFL draft. The Colts are divisional rivals. They have the first overall draft pick. But before we go look at the draft stories, and Jonathan Coachman said, I heard the Titans may not take a defensive tackle. What? They won't make the playoffs otherwise. And we will try to address defensive tackle, just not early in the draft. Now, first overall pick goes to Nick Bosa of Ohio State. And then we look at the third overall pick, that is Devin White. So Devin White immediately off of the board for us. We wanted to try to get him, but he's off the board. Now, defensive tackle, Ed Oliver. He's a beast from Houston. He goes early. Justin Herbert. He is going to be the 5th overall draft pick to the Miami Dolphins. So I think they do address a need at quarterback. Tannehill getting up there in age, you really can't rely on him at this point. So I think that was a good pick for him. N'Keal Harry ended up going to the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a question mark. I thought they were pretty decent at wide receiver, but they want another outside guy, and they were able to get him by bringing in Harry with those picks. We're just going through all of the first-round picks so you can see where everybody's overalls end up going. Remember, this is a custom draft class. We'll pretty much, I think, go back to randomly generated draft classes after this draft class. But Jarrett Stidham went a little higher than I thought. He ends up going to the Washington Redskins. So I'm not sure how Alex Smith is working out for him, but they decided to move on with another quarterback, or at least have a quarterback underneath and behind Alex Smith until Alex Smith decides to retire. Raekwon Davis from Alabama, he goes to the Buffalo Bills. And then Greedy Williams goes to the already stacked defense of the Minnesota Vikings. So their defense gets even better by bringing in a playmaker at cornerback. Jeffrey Simmons, another defensive tackle, he ends up going to Atlanta. So if we did even want to go and reach again defensive tackle early, they pretty much all were gone before we even got on the board. Now, the other top wide receiver, A.J. Brown, he is going into our division as well. He is going to the Houston Texans, and that's definitely going to be a great situation for him, teaming up with DeAndre Hopkins. And now we are here at pick 21 for the Lions, and they go ahead and get themselves a right guard. So, time for our first round draft pick round draft pick of this series. So you see me looking around, seeing who's available. Ronnie Anderson's available. We just don't need a running back. If I needed one, I probably would have went with him at this point. But we're looking, really trying to figure out what we want to do with this 22nd overall draft pick. I know Shaquille Quarterman was a guy who we pretty much are projecting. Shea Patterson is another guy. I'm not sure if he'll fall to us. I don't want to spend a first round pick on him. So that's the reason why we're kind of holding him out. Bryce Love, I like him if he falls, just to kind of replace Deion Lewis later on, but we're not pressing to get him. So we end up going with Shaquille Quarterman with the 22nd overall pick in round 1 of the NFL draft, and he comes in at a 75 overall, 73 in our scheme, but he has a star development. So I think it's a pretty decent pick. He's 23 years old. He'll have time to develop in our offense, time to develop in our scheme. Middle linebacker position, we just need somebody to fill in for Wesley Woodyard, because Wesley Woodyard ended up dropping. I believe he's now down to a 76 overall after being the 83 last year. He is now dropping because of age. So bringing in a young middle linebacker to go over Rashaan Evans, I like that idea, and that's the reason why we decided to go with him. And I'm pretty cool with the pick. I think it was a pretty solid pick at pick 22 in the first round. Now, we're just going through all the picks for the rest of round 1, and then we'll just go ahead and focus on our draft picks after round 1. But Rodney Anderson, he goes to the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think that's a bad pick at all, and I think that guy could be a really good player. Then Caleb Wilson, who I thought is the best tight end, he goes to the Green Bay Packers. I think that's also a very good pick for them. So we are now done with round 1. Like I said, we're now jumping to our picks. So 22nd pick here in round 2. I'm looking at everybody on the draft board. We want to see who is all available. And pretty much everybody on my draft board is kind of projected around 3, late round 2. I don't know if I want to use the second round pick on any of them. So I'm looking at it, and we decide ultimately, I think it's best to trade this pick away, get some type of value instead of reaching and getting somebody that we're going to regret getting with the second round draft pick. So I'm looking at Oakland's. It's a second round draft pick. I'm looking at Dallas. That's a second round draft pick for next year. But there's a lot of people in round 3 that we had on our board, and we end up ultimately deciding on the Washington Redskins, a third round pick this year, 74th overall, and a fourth round draft pick next year. I don't think that's bad at all, especially because we can't really find nobody we want at this pick. A lot of guys in round 3, so we go ahead and we make this deal happen. Now, we have the 10th pick in the third round that we just traded for. So now we are deciding that this is still a little too early before we start reaching. So once again, we have 3 third-round picks now. We're going to trade away this first one and try to get more value back. So, do you see a third-rounder and a fourth-rounder next year? Why not go ahead and make that happen? So, we trade away the pick, and now we're here with our next pick. Bryce Love, before we get to our next pick. He ends up going in round 3 to the Minnesota Vikings. Already having a great draft for Minnesota. They get some depth. So, now we're here, 22nd overall pick in the third round. And we're trying to decide who we want to get. We have the 22nd pick, the 31st pick, the 32nd pick, all in this round. We don't really want to miss, but we want to start getting some players that we have on our list. Like I said, a lot of these guys have third-round grades on them. A lot of these guys also have fourth-round grades on them. And we have to decide, but we decided to go with David Sills and 72 overall. Not really thrilled with this pick. He does bring size. He's 6'4". He's already older, though, being 24. So really not the best pick for us. But, hey, we had to go ahead and take a shot and try to address the need with the third round. Now we're here, 31st pick in the third round. We also have the 32nd pick in the same round. So back-to-back picks for us. We're now looking again, and we're trying to address needs. Early fourth-round grade for Terry Beckner Jr. We need a defensive tackle, and we are going to go with a defensive tackle here. 72 overall, normal development. Like I said, we were just filling needs with this pick. I'm not really worried about. I think this was a solid pick for us. He will definitely be able to fill in if we have an injury to any of our defensive tackles. So I'm not minding this pick at all. Now with the 32nd pick, really nobody else there that we wouldn't have reached for. So we are back on the trading block, seeing what we can get for the last pick in round number 3. So some pretty good picks. You see the Detroit Lions, though. They're giving us a 3rd-round pick next year. I don't think they'll be that good, so we end up trading this pick for that pick. Any pick that's not to Super Bowl champs will be an upgrade, essentially, in the 3rd round. So now we're here, our 22nd overall pick in round number 4, and there's a couple guys here that we definitely do like, but we need to start addressing a lot of our needs, and that is especially on our offensive line. So I'm looking at Alec Eberle. He looks really good right there. I'm also looking at Larry Allen Jr. He's projected early 5th rounder. Maybe we're going to get him now, and we do decide to do that. And look at this, a right guard, 73 overall with star development. 6'4", 288. He is 24 years old, but that star development is definitely going to be pretty good for us. So I think we got ourselves a really good pick here with our 4th round pick. We also have another 4th round pick later. So I think this was a very solid draft pick for us, and I'm definitely happy to have him on the team. Now, with the final pick, the pick that we got from the Seahawks, 32nd pick in the 4th round, still addressing need. Alec Eberle, we need a center. He has a late 5th round grade, but we don't want to allow him to leave right now. I like the way he looked, and he comes in with star development and a 73 overall in our scheme. So back-to-back picks addressing needs on our offensive line. He is only 22 years old, so still young. I like that pick. I think we did good in that 4th round specifically. Now here in round 5, once again, our pick, so the 22nd pick in round 5, our draft board is pretty much dwindled down to just 4 guys. Jalen Jokes, we needed more defensive line depth. We go ahead and grab one. He has star development also, 73 overall. So literally 3 picks that we knocked out the ballpark back to back to back. We're on a little bit of a roll right now, and I'm feeling our draft board. I think our scouting is pretty good for the people we put on our draft board. Now we're here in round 5. Only 2 guys left. We have KJ Hill, wide receiver from Ohio State. We got one in David Sills already, but we also got a middle linebacker in Quarterman already. So I don't know who I really want to go with, but ultimately we decide on Devin Bush, early 7th round grade. And look at this. He is a superstar development, you guys. 71 overall in our scheme. He is a little undersized. 5'11", 225. But a superstar development. He could drop back in pass coverage. 86 speed. 79 tackle rating. 87 acceleration. And he even has a 76 zone coverage. So I like this pick a whole lot. Devin Bush is a guy that you really can't ask for better with the 6th round draft pick. Now, our final pick, round 7, we have absolutely nobody on our draft board anymore. So now we're just going to just take a shot in the dark and just try to draft somebody. I don't know who we want to get at this point, but I'm already feeling confident. That's 4 picks in a row that are really, really solid for us. I think our whole draft, maybe except for the exception of David Sills, I think could have been very, very solid for us. So we're just looking at players here, looking at players that fit our scheme, and ultimately we decide that I haven't looked at a kicker. I forgot about this. But ultimately, we decide that we are going to go ahead and just draft somebody in our scheme. So we're looking at cornerback Elijah Holder right there. 6'3" is something that intrigued me. 178 pounds. I'm looking at other corners. Nobody else really impressing me. So we're going to go to the guy who has the man-to-man scheme fit, who is a freak when it comes to size, standing at 6'3". And that's the guy we're going to end up going with. I'm still looking around. I was really debating who we wanted to draft with our final pick, knowing they're probably not going to be good, but I'm feeling the momentum that we have. Maybe we could get another good pick. So we end up finally selecting Elijah Holder, and only a 68 overall. But, hey, we didn't have nobody really scouted at that point. Didn't really want to trade our 7th round pick. So we get a guy who's probably not going to make our roster for too long. But look at our draft overall. I think Shaquille Quarterman, a very, very solid 1st round pick. Only 73 overall in our scheme, but he has that star development. Then our 6th round pick, we knocked it out of the ballpark. Devin Bush, 71 overall middle linebacker. Now we have a ton of middle linebackers that we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with them in the future. But Devin Bush is a guy that I am extremely excited about. Shaquille Quarterman, another guy, though, I'm still extremely excited about. Not as fast as Devin Bush, but he definitely has the size. I think his hit power could have been around the 88 as well. Now we're looking at right guards. We have Klein here. It's only a 79 overall, but only a 74 in our scheme. We're going to go ahead and we're actually going to try to trade him because I like Larry Allen Jr. He's the rookie. We're going to move him up. We're going to try to get some value for Klein. When we look at the center position, pretty much the same thing. We have Ben Jones. Ben Jones, 78 overall, but only a 74 in our scheme, and he's 30 years old. We have the young guy, 22-year-old, in Alec Eberle. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start him. Only a 1-point difference, 74, 73. And we're going to try to trade away Ben Jones and see what we can get. Richard Incognito, the new guy we added to the left guard position. So we have interior of our offensive line, all new. Incognito, Eberle, Allen Jr., all new players. Hopefully that can help us this season. As for our middle linebacker situation, we're going to have to figure this thing out because Rashaan Evans, he had a good year. Wesley Woodyard, he is regressing, but he was just on the list for linebacker of the year. But he had a pretty big regression this year, falling to a 76 overall without the bonuses from confidence. So that is something we have to address. Rashaan Evans, he's a 78 overall, I believe 76 overall in our scheme. Shaquille Quarterman, like I said, he's good, 73 overall in our scheme. Then we have Devin Bush, the lowest rated guy, but the only guy with superstar development. So we have to figure out what we want to do. Of course, that's what we have preseason for. Now we're going ahead and we're just taking a look at the trading blocks. We have a ton of picks. So maybe if we could try to pull off some depth or some more players with one of our draft picks, we could do that. So we're looking around. Trent Taylor's at wide receiver, but really nobody else that we really want to go after. Laquan Treadwell's there, but that's really all the player I was interested in as a wide receiver. Good thing we drafted our linemen because there's absolutely no linemen. You know, linemen are hard to come on, especially if you're trying to trade for a lineman. They're pretty much impossible to trade for in this game. So good thing we were actually able to draft a pair of good ones that hopefully could be on our team for years to come. Looking at left outside linebackers, middle linebackers, we don't need none at all. But when we take a look at right outside linebackers, just for depth reasons, Shaquem Griffin, he is there. He's available by the Seahawks. And we're looking at it like maybe we go ahead and make another trade. 73 overall. I don't know why they don't want to play him. We have Harold Landry, who will be the starter. But Harold Landry also struggled with injury issues last season. So we're going to make this trade, 4th round draft pick for Shaquem Griffin. And we're able to get him. It's just that easy. I thought we was going to have to pay more than that, but we don't. And we get him. So we add depth to our right outside linebacker position. 73 overall speed rusher. I don't plan on starting him. Harold Landry is our guy. But if Harold Landry goes down, we have Griffin with 91 speed right behind him. So I'm not worried about that at all. I think it's a pretty good move. Now, Klein, we were able to trade for a 1st round pick. Like I said, linemen have insane value. Hopefully, Larry Allen does not go down with the injury. If he does, we may be a little screwed by trading away some depth at that position. But we end up moving them. Now we decide Ben Jones, another guy we could probably get a 1st round pick for. We have to include a 3rd round pick also, but we get one from the Chargers. So we get the 1st for Ben Jones and a 3rd round pick. So they get a starting center. We get a 1st rounder. And we had to give up a 3rd round pick. But I think it's a pretty good move for us. And I think overall, that's pretty much everything that we had done for this entire offseason. I think overall, we had a solid offseason. I think free agency was a little disappointing, especially because we didn't get Odell Beckham. But I think we got pieces that just addressed the team needs and helped out the team overall. The draft, I'm insanely excited for. I think our linebacker core as a whole, outside linebackers and middle linebackers, are going to be incredible. They're going to be the heart of this team. We already had a very, very good secondary. Defensive line is okay. Really nothing to really be mad about at all. We have decent defensive linemen. Offensive line did get addressed. I think overall, of course, we're rocking with Marcus Mariota. He is going to be our guy this season. Hopefully he has a very solid year. Running back core is cool. Receiver core a little weak, but we definitely going to need Corey Davis to play like a number 1. This is now his 3rd season, and he needs to play like the 5th overall draft pick that he was. But that is our entire offseason. You guys let me know what you guys liked about this offseason in the comment section below, what you guys didn't like, the hits, the misses, and how do you think this team kind of looks moving forward with this entire offseason. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it in the comment section below. But that is all I have for this episode. As always, I definitely hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please go ahead and leave this video a like. It will help me out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's your boy D Lloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.